thank you, public, for being a little understanding for us. It's been a crazy evening so far. We've had meeting on top of meeting. So thank you for coming out this holiday season. Kathy, whenever you're ready, if you could call us to order, please.
Okay. This meeting, which is hereby called to order, is in compliance with the notice requirements of the law. Public notice was posted in the office of the Board of Education and communicated to the municipal clerk, the Daily Record, and the Star Ledger on January 8, 2016.
Very good. If we could all stand and salute our flag, please. Salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. And when you're ready, Kathy, please roll call.
Mr. Brucio? Ms. Dodd?
Here.
Mr. Rosario? Here. Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mrs. Laurie?
Here.
Mr. Scarnio?
Here.
Mrs. Mullen?
Here.
Mr. Bocchino? Mr. Hooper?
Here.
Mrs. Shower?
Here. Thank you very much. And good evening, staff members that are here. Thank you so much for coming. Mr. Taxiarco, I understand you have a presentation for us.
I do.
The floor is yours.
Ready now?
Yes, we are.
Podium okay here?
That's fine, wherever you're comfortable.
Maybe the picture up here. Okay, I'd like to thank you for coming tonight. Those of you that do not know me, my name is Lou Taxiarco. I'm the district coordinator for harassment, intimidation, and bullying. We are required by state law to make 2 presentations per year to the Board of Education to tell them what we are doing as far as investigation procedures, but more importantly, what we're doing to prevent bullying. And with that, I have some people I'd like to introduce tonight that have also joined us. I have Vicki Zabo, who is our student assistance counselor at Dover High School and also worked with me in North Dover School. We have Amy Button, who is our student assistant counselor at East Dover School, and she shares time at Academy Street School. And Miss Anna Rose Acevedo, who I've worked with for many years, the former guidance counselor at Dover Middle School. She is one of our HIV specialists as well. So let me give you a brief idea, because I know we got a lot of people here tonight. What these 3 ladies do, they're school specialists. And basically, if there's a complaint, either from a teacher, a student, a parent, anyone in the community of a possible HIV situation, they will meet with that person. They will take a statement, gather basic information, and at that point, we go to our building administrator. We do an initial report, and then, depending on what school it's in, I will join them, and we do an investigation. By law, we have 10 days to complete the investigation, 10 school days. It sounds like a lot, but oftentimes we may have 1 or 2 people that are being bullied. We may have 2 or 3 accused bullies. We get witnesses, we get teachers. So it is a quite lengthy process. What we're noticing is most of our cases are not happening on school grounds. A lot of the stuff we're dealing with, as we read in the paper, on TV, is cyber related. Social networks, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. 10 years ago, I knew 0 of these sites. Now I'm becoming an expert day by day. As we said, it's a growing problem, and that's our main focus, trying to address that area of concern. So after the facts are gathered, we'll sit down with the ladies, myself, the building principals, maybe vice principals, teachers involved, and we'll determine if it's a bullying situation or not. At that point, I will write a report up. I will give it to Mr. Becker. Mr. Becker shares it with the Board of Education. Then we will then in turn notify the parents of our findings. Then what we do, us on the school safety teams, the school specialist and myself, we will try to come up with a remedial measure. We're not here to punish the student. That's not our goal. Okay? If a case of bullying did take place and was confirmed, the vice principal will follow our code of conduct. The high school has a code of conduct book, so does Dover Middle School, and they will deem the appropriate measure, appropriate consequence. Well, our concern is to try to prevent any further acts, and that's where our 2 student assistance counselors have been a great help this year. That's a new position this year, and it's been very, very beneficial. So we could have counseling between any of us. We're all counselors. We could refer to the school specialist. If it's a frequent situation and a chronic case of someone who's been bullying, will we use our school outreach program, Tiger Rap, or will we refer out of district, which is a rare situation. As we said, middle school, high school, we have a lot of resources, which is great. All right, our goal is to be more visible this year in the elementary schools. We're going to really focus on grades 4, 5, and 6, because our idea is if we get the kids early, we tell them what bullying is, we show the impacts of bullying, it'll hopefully cut back when they get to the middle school. Now, not only Dover Middle School, you can go to any middle school across the country, that's the target area. Most of the bullying happens in middle school areas. I would say from what we've seen, probably 6th grade through freshman year are the key areas for that. So what we have seen, we've seen a decline this year, which is good. And I think the reason for that decline is we have 2 extra people helping us out. They are on top of things before it gets to me or the central office or to the building level administration, which is very, very helpful. I think they get the problems while they're still small. The reason we want to get to the elementary schools is because they're not used to a guidance counselor, a SAC, or a full-time counselor. So if they get to know that there's someone there to help them with their issues and their problems, and now, as I said, Amy is 2 days a week at Academy Street and 3 at East Dover, Vicky at high school full-time, Anna Rose at the middle school, my office is in North Dover. I float between all the schools, so there's one of us at each given school at any given time, which is very, very helpful. Last year, to give you an example of what I've done, I would get into classrooms, I would try to start with 7th grade, work my way down. Probably I got to maybe the 4th grade level, and that's probably pushing it. This year, to give you an idea of what we've done, we've seen every student in elementary schools, grades 3 to 6. In some schools, Academy Street and East Dover, the students have been exposed to lessons 2 times. Vicki works with the phys ed department and the family education classes. Whenever there's a new cycle, she'll go into those classes. Anna Rose and I hit the middle school class in social studies. So it's a small group environment. We have 20 to 25 students at a time, not 200-300 kids in an auditorium. It's very intimate. It's a much, much better learning environment, question and answer session. So that's our goal, to try to spend more and more time in the elementary schools. And with any luck, we're going to try to double that number. So I calculated right now, roughly, we've been into about 125 to 135 classroom situations. With any luck, we're going to double that number by May or June if things go well. Okay, so what are we doing in the classroom when we get there? Well, we go over district rules and policies, we go over consequences, reporting procedures, investigation procedures, roles that we play, more importantly, roles that the parents play, what to do if you are being bullied, what to do if you are bullied. We have video clips, and again, I'm not real tech savvy, but thank goodness we have some younger staff members. They pulled up video clips, and they put some terrific PowerPoint presentations together. When I'm done here, they're so numerous. I'll give this book to Mr. Becker. He can share it with the board. There's still shots of all the PowerPoint presentations on here from all grade levels, from high school right down to, I think we got to the 3rd grade so far, the 3rd grade. And then after the holiday, we're going to focus in on our, and you guys are coming with me, the pre-K to kindergarten and 1st grade, right? So we're going to bring it right down to the real young kids. And I don't know if they know what bullying is, but we're going to try to focus on being friends, being friendly, being nice to each other. We're not going to go into bullying and consequences and stuff like that. We're going to teach it more as sharing and stuff like that. Unfortunately, with today's society, we have to focus a lot of our efforts on suicide prevention. You don't have to go far to see a news article, a newspaper clip of a student who has taken their own life due to cyberbullying. We're very, very fortunate we have not had that situation here, nor do we want that. And that's why these 3 young ladies and myself, we're trying to do everything we can to prevent situations like that. What we also have, character education. Ms. Acevedo does the character education unit at Dover Middle School. Vicki worked a new unit with Tiger Rap this year. They took 11th and 12th graders. They trained them as mentors. Those mentors went into freshman PE classes and got the word out there. Amy had our 7th and 8th grade student council members. They took them downstairs to East Dover School and they read books on bullying and anti-bullying literature during the week of respect. So we have, again, we could have never done this last year without the staff we have now. As far as outside, what a lot of schools do to meet their mandates, they will have an assembly come in, they'll pack 400, 500, 600 kids into a gym, they'll have a half-hour assembly, and they've technically met their mandate. We go well above and beyond that. This Friday, Vicki put together a fabulous program. It's about a gentleman from Long Island who unfortunately lost his son to cyberbullying. He will be at Dover High School this Friday, and we're going to do our assembly. And we're also going to have a repeat of it in January for the parents at nighttime assembly. And we also had Vicki and Rosa and I and Amy put together current drug trends and HIV parent information night, which we had in November. We had in November. We had a pretty good turnout for that. All right, what we have planned for the rest of the year. As I said, on January 11th, if you can make it, it's going to be at Dover High School Auditorium. Vicki put this program, this gentleman was very hard to get a hold of. Tragic story. His son was in 7th grade, was cyberbullied. The dad knew nothing about it, mom knew nothing about it. The young man took his own life. I was fortunate enough to see the program about 3 years ago at my son's middle school. I should put him on the spot. He's back there tonight and give him a brief synopsis of what I'm letting him do it to him. And it's an excellent program, so if you can make it that night, I would highly recommend it to friend, family members. If you got anyone in that age category, try to make it that night. It's a terrific, terrific program. We're going to talk about the dangers of Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. We're going to go over cyberbullying and teen suicide. Vicki's put together a program on bystander intervention. We're going to try to tell kids not only if you're being bullied what to do, what you can do now as a friend, as a colleague, as someone who sees bullying, because that's our target group now. If we can get kids to understand it, that it's okay to tell an adult, it's okay to step in and try to intervene to stop the bullying. And again, the younger staff members here are a lot more up on the new techniques, and we did it at North Dover a few weeks ago. It went great, and with a turnkey operation, now we're doing it to all of the elementary schools. And we are going to continue going with the ongoing classroom visits. And what we're going to try this year, I did a pilot program last year at North Dover. We're going to have our 6th grade students put together either 3 to 5 minute skits or possibly get up on stage, and we're going to bring down our 2nd and 3rd graders. One, cost of assemblies are astronomical. I mean, you could go $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for an assembly. So we're going to use our students to put together skits, we're going to videotape them, or we're going to put them up on stage, and they're going to put performances on for the elementary students. And I think, Amy, you're going to do something like that with 7th and 8th grade students as well. Okay, so how has this helped? Well, it's a little bit early to tell, but so far, as I said, our numbers are down. Just to give you some numbers, last year at the Dover Middle School, at this time of the year, we had 14 HIV cases, 9 of which were confirmed. As of today, we have 3 HIV cases, 3 were confirmed. The elementary level probably seen the biggest decrease. Last year at this time, we had 6 reported cases, 2 of those were confirmed. As of today, we have no confirmed HIV cases in our elementary schools. High school numbers are up a little bit. We had 4 cases last year, 2 were confirmed, and that was actually our lowest ever. That was kind of an anomaly there. This year we have 10 cases, 5 of which were confirmed, but there's a footnote to that. 4 students were involved with 7 of those 10 cases. We often see that sometimes. If we send a letter home and say that your son or daughter may have been accused of being a bully, we'll have a parent come in the next day saying, well, my kid's getting picked on too. And that's fine. We will look into it. So that's why those numbers are a bit inflated, because we did multiple cases on the same students. So overall, our numbers are down. In comparison to last year, we had 24 cases at this time, 13 confirmed. As of now, we have 13 in the district with 8 confirmed. So we did drop quite a bit. Again, I think we got a pretty good start. I want to thank these young ladies right here. It's very rare that you find 3 and we have Brenda Acevedo too, who's our second counselor at Dover Middle School. She couldn't make it tonight. Through the day that goes by, I don't talk to either one of them or see them. We just met each other this year. Anna Rose and I worked together for a long time, but Vicki and Amy are new. I think we have a good mix of experience. This is my 28th year in the district. Anna Rose has been here quite a few years. Vicki and Amy are new, so we got some new folks coming in. We got some experience, and I think we all work very, very closely together. I want to thank them for that. And I'm really looking forward to the video projects, to the new training that Vicki's brought to us. And as I said before, I'm going to turn this binder over to Mr. Becker, has all the detailed information on it. And the last person I'd like to thank is Mr. Becker. Sometimes we have some very unique situations, and I don't have the answers to it. And he's a phone call away, and he gets back to me right away. And our building principals are terrific too. One thing I can say, we have a very, very open line of communication, which makes my job much, much easier. So that's where we are. Hopefully in the spring, we will have some video clips for you up here of our students doing some of these presentations. We're going to try to get it on tape, and we're going to see how it goes. So that's where we are right now. I don't know if any board members have any questions or.
Thank you, Mr. Taxier. Board members, any questions? I just have a question. Do you know what time the January 11th program is?
I'm sorry.
Second?
For some reason, January, we're going to a workshop on the 11th. It's January 10th.
Okay.
It is at 7 o'clock, Dover High School Auditorium. What we're doing, we are sending out, and we're able to get the flyers out, we know. So flyers have gone home with midterm report cards. I think high school sent them out in the mail. Elementary schools, a whole lot of mail doesn't go out. So what we're going to do, check the menugram. We're going to put it in the menugram, but it's kind of small. We'll see if we have the manpower, or maybe we'll try to get a flyer for the week we come back from vacation. We'll see if we can set a flyer for elementary school kids. I highly recommend to anyone from, first grade, college-age students. This guy's terrific. I can't say enough about him. I was fortunate enough to see him at my son's school. They said he was terrific. He was very, very good.
Thank you, and thank you for the tremendous job.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
And I just want to where's Mr. Becker?
Please.
Just compliment Mr. Becker on the restructuring so that we are seeing dramatic results this year.
And I think what it does, and Anna Rosa can tell you this firsthand because we worked together in middle school for many years. We could have a case going on at the middle school and a case going on at the high school, and before I was going back and forth between both schools, they've picked up, they've handled the situation, and it allows me more time into classrooms, and I think we're more proactive. And I think we're already seeing the results. It's a little early to tell yet, but our numbers are down drastically, and hopefully in the spring we have more good news for you.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on, we come to the portion of the meeting for the public. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to approve the presentation. Can I have a motion? So moved. Okay. We have a motion, and we have a second. Any questions or comments about the report? All good? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Very good, thank you very much, everyone. And now on to the public portion, and again, thank you, public, for your patience this evening. First portion is just for agenda items. Any questions or comments about agenda items? You'll be given 3 minutes after you stand, and please state your name and your address for the record. If you could also make sure that you've signed in this evening. The last couple of meetings, we've had a number of people that were not signing in, and we do need that to become part of the legal record of the minutes of the meeting. So at this time, you're welcome to stand. Your name, your address. Yes, please.
Hi, is this the appropriate time to ask about agenda item 11?
It's on the agenda, yes, after you've stated your name and address.
Yes, I'm Cheryl Colligan. I'm the district French teacher. I'm presently at the 7th grade level. And I have a question. Tonight you're approving curriculum for French grades 7 and 8. I don't know who authored the curriculum, but I'm wondering if it's your intention to reinstitute French for both levels 7 and 8, and also at the high school, since it's no longer being offered at the high school.
Okay, thank you for your question. Anyone else?
Yeah, can I get a quick question?
Yes.
Rodney Lane, Prospect Street, Dover. Item 10, personnel, section number 4, just a quick question. William Fitchter, security, is that a brand new position? That's my question. Is that brand new? It says start date 12/12. Is that replacement or brand new?
Okay, thank you for the question. Anyone else? Okay, at this point, we will close this portion of the meeting. There will be another public portion at the end of the meeting on any items at that point. Thank you again. And on to approval of the minutes, please. We have regular session and executive sessions 1 and 2 from November 15th. I move we approve. Second. We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions, comments, corrections? Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed? Very good, thank you, everyone. And on to communications, Ms. Jenish.
Okay, we have a letter from Mine Hill Township Board of Education in regards to their feasibility study that is currently being conducted for the 7th and 8th grade students that attend Dover.
Very good, thank you for that. And in reference to that letter and their feasibility study, we have formed a committee chaired by Scott Miller with Linda Mullen, and we'll be adding to that committee after the first of the year. And we will be responding to Mine Hill's letter also right after the first of the year. So thank you very much for that. On to the board secretary and treasurer's report, please.
Okay, I move we approve the board secretary and treasurer report, months ending October 31, 2016 and November 30, 2016, with cash balances of $8,031,136.79 and $6,922,092.82.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any questions, comments? Okay, roll call then, please.
Mr. Lucio? Ms. Dodd? Ms. Rosario?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullins?
Yes.
Mr. Hooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you very much for that. Superintendent's report, Mr. Becker, please.
Thank you very much. We recommend the out-of-district placement and transportation cost for the special education placements as noted.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Any questions or comments? We have some very large ones, and these are for the remainder of the school year, starting with these dates.
Yes, they are.
So this is not quite a full year, and these are very expensive. Okay, any other questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario? Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullins?
Yes.
Mr. Hooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes.
Now we have a termination of a placement. This was a person at the Shepherd Preparatory High School in Morristown who has moved and will no longer be attending. The final thing, we recommend field trips and travel authorization as per the attached list. I apologize if they are getting a little longer, but that's because we missed the last meeting.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions or comments about the list? Everybody's good? Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario? Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullins?
Yes.
Mr. Hooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Becker. On to personnel, Mr. Miller.
Make a motion that the board approve staff and extra services appointments for 2016-17 school year as listed. We have items 1 through 12, 13.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second, and we're moving on through the bottom of page 4. Questions or comments from anyone? Yes, Linda.
Have we been able to advertise for speech language yet? Do we have many applicants for that position? Tough spot to fill.
Yes, and we tentatively have an agency who's provided a person so we can readjust the deployment of our speech teachers. So tentatively, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario? Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullins?
Yes.
Mr. Hooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Miller. Curricular and co-curricular activities, Mr. Hooper, could you take that, please?
Board recommends approval of the following curriculum guides as well.
Second.
Okay, motion, and we have a second. Any questions or comments, board members?
Well, I love this junior, senior seminar curriculum guide, very interesting.
How many students take advantage of that? Because obviously they can't all do it because their time just doesn't allow, right?
Yeah, it's the students that have a double lab period, like normally you can do one period lab from phys ed. The students who are taking the advanced physics, the AP physics, will have a double period lab, so they have 3 days a week that they take the junior senior stuff.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? All righty. Yes, sir.
And one thing we don't want to confuse is 2 meetings from now, you're going to have a presentation on the AP capstone program, which we're adopting. And that's also a seminar, and that'll be for sophomores and seniors. So we have 2 seminars that will be occurring concurrently, but we'll be sure to draw the distinction for you between those seminars.
And as their schedule allows,
Yes.
with these kids
Well,
taking
capstone-
everything.
Yeah, and the capstone program will actually be a research study program for sophomores, the same group of sophomores and seniors. We've been approved for the projects, and now we'd like to go ahead and present it to the board. But that won't be the first meeting in January, but the second meeting in January.
Very good.
And we'll also be discussing, yes, the bilingual seal of bicultural, biliteral literacy, whatever the most recent title is. And that's very exciting. We have been accepted for that. So both of those presentations will be the second meeting in January.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, roll call in, please.
Ms. Dodge?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario? Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mr. Hooper?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Hooper. B.
I also move the board resolves upon recommendation of the superintendent, the board that recommended the accept the harassment, intimidation, and bullying incident reported for the period September 1st through November 30th. Be it further resolved, the board of education approved remedial and disciplinary action taken for each allegations.
Second.
Very good. We have a motion. We have a second. Any questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Dodge?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario? Yes. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mr. Hooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you.
And I move the board recommends approval of the 2016-2017 district nursing services plan.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Any questions or comments?
It's a very detailed report, it's very detailed. Very busy.
Very busy, is right.
We mentioned our thanks to Mr. Bullock, who put that report together, and it will be on our district website, hopefully tomorrow, maybe Thursday.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Bullock. Any other questions or comments? Roll call then, please.
Ms. Dodge?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario? Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mr. Hooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. And one more, Mr. Hooper.
Okay, I also move the board recommends approval of the Dover High School Athletic Association Treasury Report by H. Pollock, Athletic, November 2016.
Second.
Good. We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions or comments about Mr. Bullock's report? Everybody's good. Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Dodge?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mr. Hooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Hooper. On to community relations, Ms. Rosario.
The motion that the board recommends approval as requested for the policy reads to law. This is the first reading, with the second reading being the first reading of January 2007. How goes down?
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Any questions or comments? Yes,
I have one. I'd like to thank Ms. Mullen. She did point out that in policy number 5460, I did make an error. We had common core content standards that should have been adjusted to the New Jersey student learning standards, at least for the temporary time until they change it again. But thank you for catching that, Ms. Mullen. We'll change that, and that'll be on for your second reading. That'll be correct. Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario? Yes. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullin?
Yes.
Mr. Hooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you very much. And on to buildings and grounds. Mrs. Mullin, please.
I'm happy to report that there is, for the month of November, there's no property damage, vandalism, or theft of school property. And then I move that the board recommends the approval of the use of Dover Public School facilities as follows, which has to do with our very active PTAs.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Very good. Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario? Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullin?
Yes.
Mr. Hooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you very much, Mrs. Mullin. On to budget and finance, Mrs. Laurie.
Okay, I move we approve and or adopt the following resolutions as listed. And we have a very important one, number 5, Ms. Jenish. Would you like to, congratulations.
Thank you. I just would like to report that our 2015-16 audit went well. We ended up with some nice reserves at the end of the year. We have a maintenance reserve still of $917,000. We have an undesignated fund balance of just a little bit over $1 million. And we have a capital reserve balance of $6.2 million. We also, in our report, have received no audit findings. So we have a nice clean report this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Gift at the end of the year.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. On to, did you move the rest of them all together?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
There's another bunch here.
Any other questions or comments?
And number 7, I guess something,
Changed.
yeah.
Oh, the Hamilton Field House
Yes.
renovation project. We had a small change order of $5,197.50. There was an adjustment made with the heating. There's some additional piping put in. Also, I believe there was some egress lighting that was instituted or recommended from the building inspector, building inspector. So it was required, and we had to increase the contract by $5,197.50.
Okay. Very good. And Mr. Gomes completely agrees with all of this?
Yes, he does.
Very good. Okay. Thank you for that. Any other questions or comments? Alrighty, roll call then, please.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Rosario?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullin?
Yes.
Mr. Hooper?
Yes.
And Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Very good. Thank you, Mrs. Laurie. Dover report from Mine Hill. Mr. Lucio did have to leave a little bit earlier, and we did discuss with him the fact that we have established the committee and will be responding to his board president on behalf of his board. Old business, we did in fact, our last meeting was canceled due to the ice and then mushy snow. So I'm sorry if there were any members of the public that started out early that evening and then had to turn around. It was too dangerous around here. I have no other old business. Anyone have any other old business? New business, our reorganization meeting, swearing in of our new board members and organizing our existing board is January 3rd, starting with no executive session here at 8 o'clock. The snow date, or weather date I should call it, is January 5th, same time, same place, if we do have to cancel. We have New Jersey School Board meetings February 8th, March 22nd, and April 26th. We have the locations. I'm not sure if we have the topics.
I think, isn't the 8th, didn't we approve to have it here?
Here,
Or did
yes.
we
Yes, that's the
change?
one that we are having here.
Yes.
And it is a video meeting.
Video conference
Conference.
with 2 other counties.
Right, Right, and that's one of the first that we're doing.
Yeah, I think Cumberland County is one of them, and Union may be the other.
Very
I'm not
proud that
100%
school
sure.
boards chose us as the location, and we are happy that we were able to supply them the location for this. This is the second time we're having a meeting with school boards.
Yes.
It might even be the third, yes. Very good, and now we are on again, yes, Mr. Scarnio.
I have two things. We had the pleasure of attending two meetings, beautiful Friday night down in Trenton, and then another Saturday down in Trenton last week. Saturday, we had the delegates meeting, semi-annual delegates meeting. And pretty much a normal business went on as usual, but we did have a resolution that was brought up by one of the towns. And what they are going to do, it was adopted, and school boards this year is going to make a push with the state legislature and the State Board of Education. They want to change the special education law. And they're pushing to get the burden of proof in disputed cases put onto the plaintiffs of the case rather than be the responsibility of the school board to defend its position. So that, yeah, we don't know how that's going to be, receptive down there, but it's what the push is going to be now with the legal group and going out with all the meetings. It has become too costly for the schools to try to defend, their recommendations, and I don't know if we've had the issue because we don't really get involved in these cases as they go through the legal process, but it is a couple of law firms that are basically doing a push with the parents, we can get better for you on a contingency, and they challenge everything. It's just really come to a head. So that's going to be the big push down in Trenton this year. The other meeting we had then, there was the Board of Directors meeting for school boards. And we were petitioned, right now, charter schools pay an associate membership to school boards where they get some services. They're not full voting members, such as, all the rest of us are. They have petitioned to become full members of New Jersey school boards. So that was brought up to the Board of Directors, and that was firmly voted down. So we do expect, because the request came also with a threatening, letter that if we didn't agree to grant them for membership, they would pursue litigation. So we fully expect that to be coming down. But that's where we stand right now.
Very good, well, thank you for that update. And we move on again to the public portion of the meeting. This portion is open to any items for discussion. As you stand and give your name and your address, you'll have 3 minutes to speak for a grand total of 30 minutes for the public comment section. So please, whoever's first, raise your hand, stand up. Yes.
Hi, good evening. My name is Vivian Yusti Rodriguez, class of 1991, 20 East Crystal Street. I have a question for the president concerning the last meeting. There was an alleged inappropriate behavior concerning a member of the community. If these charges are found to be true, the member has violated the Code of Ethics. If this is true, the board member should apologize to Ms. Gilbert and to the community along with an immediate resignation. If this is true, the board member is not any type of role model to the Dover community or any other. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Any other questions or comments? Yes, ma'am.
Cassandra Rubin, 29 Park Avenue in Dover. It's ironic that the HIB was here because I had a question about it. I wanted to find out how effectively you guys think the school is running the HIB program, and if it's true that Dover gets a report card for each of the incidents, so a lot of them, such as my daughter's incident, gets swept under the rug. Kind of was a twofold, because he said that some of the numbers were because the bullier ended up getting bullied. And I think in my daughter's incident, where the boy admitted to calling my daughter a bitch 32 times since the start of school and threatened to beat her ass, when her friend said the same thing to him, he got no repercussions, but my daughter was suspended from school for a day because her friend told the young man that he was gonna beat his ass if he didn't stop messing with her. My second question is, I know that Dover uses the Genesis program. I was just wondering why, being that this is such a good tool, that they haven't given access to the parents to use it. I'm asking this because a friend of mine, I ran into him recently, and he said that he was really upset because a teacher waited until his child missed 8 assignments before they contacted the parents. So,
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I got it.
Yes, Mr. Miller.
Let me just line this up. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. First, I have a naughty and nice list to read. I have, I'm just playing.
You got that
Chuckles,
on.
no chuckles, nothing. You guys
I'm
are cold.
smiling.
You guys are cold. Okay. Yeah. All right, guys, one quick thing that I wanted to go over. At the last meeting, we talked about superintendent salaries and bonuses. I know Mr. Becker gave some reasoning at the end, and I'm not questioning the salaries. I know the business very well, so I'm not questioning the salaries. The question was on the bonuses. Mr. Becker said he did not receive any bonuses. Now, there was an article on March 15th in the Atlantic City Press, and there is a list of all superintendents by county. And then they have, I'll give this to the board. In Morris County, they have Dover Robert Becker in 2013, 2014 with a $13,952 bonus. So I don't know if this is inaccurate or if Mr. Becker is inaccurate, but this is a document that's going around as far as education. So I can leave this with the board and take a look at it. I don't know, just clarification because that could mean. So that's pretty much, that was it was in the document, so I just wanted to bring that up. I think that's pretty much it for me.
Thank you very much, sir. Good
Thank
evening. Any other comments from anyone?
Good evening, Carol Ruiz, 98 Prospect Street. I have a comment and 3 questions. Last year, while serving as interpreter for the Lutheran Synod, I learned that numerous studies and direct teacher observations show that students who eat school breakfast are more likely to perform better on tests, attend more days of school, and graduate from high school. When schools make breakfast a part of the school day by serving it in the classroom or through other models outside of the cafeteria, school breakfast participation increases and student attendance, academic achievement, and behavior improves. According to the Department of Agriculture and the Advocates for Children of New Jersey report, only 24% of our Dover students participate in the school breakfast program, and 73% of our students are members of low-income families eligible for the free or reduced school meals. Because we are not currently providing breakfast to all our eligible students, we are missing out on approximately $620,000 in federal reimbursement dollars. Breakfast after the bell can mean anything from breakfast in the classroom, either in homeroom or first period classroom, or a grab-and-go model. Breakfast in this way can be a 10 to 15-minute process. We can use the opportunity to not only feed our children, but also build community and teach nutrition that can nourish our children throughout their lives. For example, some schools in Morristown serve breakfast after the bell. My questions: 1, what is the current breakfast model we are following? 2, what are the barriers, if any, to making breakfast part of the school day? And 3, who is our food service director and how can we connect him or her to others who can teach us about breakfast models that serve more students? Please explore the New Jersey Food for Thought campaign of the Advocates for Children and Anti-Hunger Coalition website, which you can find at https://A for advocates, C for children, N for new, J for Jersey, .org/school-breakfast. And by doing so, we can learn and consider how we might pilot such a program.
I didn't want to interrupt the website after night pause. You got 1 minute.
Thanks.
Okay.
How we might consider piloting a breakfast after the bell program and see if that might be a good fit for our children and our schools.
Very good, thank you. Anyone else from the public? Okay, I will close the public portion at this moment. Thank you very much for coming out this evening. Mr. Becker, did you have a response? I know Ms. Jenish also perhaps would say something about our breakfast program first.
Well, we can go through
Tag team?
some of the issues. Sure. Security guard is a replacement. That's an easy one. So now we're completely staffed, I believe, with our security guards in our schools. It's not as required as we chose to do. HIB, I would suggest that's news to me. Did you get a letter
I got the
informing you of
original
your right
letter
to?
that said they were gonna contact me within 10 days, but it's been a month and a half and I haven't heard a word.
Okay. Because I don't want to broach the confidentiality of your son or your daughter, whoever it may be, would you be able to call the office tomorrow? Or I guess we have it here. We'll have Mr. Taxiarco get in touch with you for a meeting with yourself and the principal, because we are interested in following through on this. If a mistake was made, we'll correct it, but I'd certainly like to get the details and get you an answer. And I obviously can't give you an answer right now because I don't know. But we'll find out for you. Do we have your name?
Yeah.
And did you leave a number, phone number?
I didn't leave a phone number, but it didn't say to.
If you could put your phone number on, that would help, because just personally, I find it much easier. I prefer to just pick up a phone and talk, so we can straighten it out. But I appreciate you bringing that concern to us, and we'll look into it, because I believe we've been very proactive, and our actions have nothing to do with any reports that we do file. So that's very, very valuable. Thank you for the letter. Your question was about this year's contract, Mr. Lane. I answered that question to you. What the state does is, when we fill out for our contract, are you listening? Are you with me? Or?
Yes.
Okay, I'm giving you the courtesy of an answer. I just didn't know if you were listening. What we have to do is, when we fill out, we have to fill out all the data. For instance, on this year's contract, there's all kind of data that's filled out. You actually fill out like you're going to retire every year, so how much will it cost for your retirement? So all those figures that's probably included in here are included. This year, in the past, quite often I had merit pay put in. I was eligible, and the vast majority of the times I didn't take it. And when I did take it, we did some special projects with it, which I'm under no obligation to discuss with you. However, your question was about the contract, and this year's contract. I was very careful because I didn't want an amount posted so people like yourself could question it and say, what's going on here? Is he lying to us? So we just had that entire area removed. So I think I'm probably one of the few people in Morris County who don't have it listed and will not be requesting it. I'm not sure if that's wise on my part or not, since we've been frozen for, I don't know how many years now, 7 or 8 years. But I appreciate your question, and I hope this was a thorough explanation of it. So, yeah, you're correct on the old listing that was published. That's what it had on it. But if you go to the new listing, be sure to clarify that so there would be no misimpressions of being eligible for merit pay. Now, what I can control are things like when I retire, the amount that's in my retirement that I would be eligible for, because that I have to fill out every year as if I were going to retire. And so some of those numbers do appear skewed. I wish it wasn't like that. I don't think it presents an accurate picture, but that is a picture of the way the state presents it. In terms of school breakfast, I can start that off and then I'll toss it to Kathy. Every year we investigate that. It's unfortunate that we didn't have a conversation about that prior, because the school breakfast, the program is linked in with our Title I funding. Title I pays for many of our teachers under the Class Size Reduction Act. The money for that is a direct carryover from the free and reduced lunch forms. There is a program that we've looked into last year, as a matter of fact, just to set the record straight. Ms. Jenish even called the State Department because we were frustrated. We wanted to do two things. We wanted to reduce the cost for the lunch the kids paid, for the payers and the reduced payers. We were told we were not allowed to do that. The federal government would not allow us to charge less to every student because we do run an operation that's been very successful. It's very cost effective. We offer good lunches. We found a surplus. We wanted not to use the surplus to put into a line for additional items, but to actually provide a free breakfast if we could. Because my concern was, when you talk about breakfast after the bell, the concern was if these students are 75%, let's say, of the students are on free and reduced lunch. If 75% of the students are on free or reduced lunch, they would get a free breakfast after the bell. My concern was, what about the 25%, especially in the elementary classrooms, who are not getting a free and reduced lunch? Do they sit and watch everybody else eat? So we looked into several things. One was, can we pay for those students? Can we use a surplus and actually pay for those students' breakfast so everybody could enjoy a breakfast at the same time? And maybe it's just my elementary background, maybe I'm just getting soft in my old age, but I just felt that it was inappropriate for 1/4 of the kids to watch the other 3/4 eat. So we actually wanted to provide it for free. The board supported it, the state did not. They would not allow us to do it. The other program, I believe it's Universal, that we looked into.
Universal breakfast.
And the problem with that one was, it's not a free and reduced lunch form. That's the one that we...
No, that's the CEP.
Okay, thank you. The CEP program, thanks for the terms, I get confused. The CEP program allows us to do breakfast after the bell, and it allows all students to eat, which sounds like a great idea. The problem is all that has to be done online. So it's no longer we hand out a form and the kids fill out a free or reduced form and hand it back to the school, which we then use for our Title I. We would have to rely on the parents signing on and actually filling out the forms for their children to participate. Our state aid, as we understood it, for not state, I'm sorry, federal aid for Title I would be dependent on that. If we use, right now about 1/3 of our families actively enroll with numbers on our Honeywell program. If we translate that participation rate to this, I would end up having to terminate a significant numbers of teachers who were paid for by Title I if the amount of funding came in lower. This is a concern maybe which isn't important to many people, but I'm sure to many of our staff it would be. So that's the problem we had in terms of how do we go ahead and impart that. The next step we took was looking into this other program, which is brand new across the country. This is the second year across the nation that has been in effect. And that's an alternate program that might allow us to provide a breakfast. But we're trying to get the information on it. We've invited our food service people to come in, not the next meeting, but the meeting after that, because the next meeting is reorg. So they're going to come in and they're going to be presenting, after they discuss with the board, the various benefits and challenges of this brand new program. It's brand new, so I can't talk about it too much. But I guess my frustration is, before we have a rally and a call for, we should do this, I'm well aware of the sites, I'm well aware of the programs, I'm well aware of what's available there to the students. What the audience may not be aware of is the unintended consequence of adopting a program that may result in a systemic loss of federal funding that we need to carry on our current programs. All these things are up in the air. We're trying to find the details on them, and we will find them. And hopefully by that second meeting in January, we'll have more information on this brand new program, the Universal Breakfast, because that might be an option for us. But the devil is in the details. And our responsibility lies in, okay, if we do this, because I really have a problem with 3/4 eating and 1/4 not. But if we can use this program, which is new, it provided for everybody, that certainly might become an option. Also, we want to remind people that we We do have schools and where we have free fruit delivered every day to the students for another grant that we got. So in our elementary programs, the students are getting fresh fruit every day, which, you know, midway through the day, all students can participate. It's for the elementary school. All students can participate, and there is no need for the students to apply since we got a grant for that because we want the kids to have it. Also, currently we have grab bags available for kids coming in late and can't stand in line. We have a variety of options for the kids. We've also been looking at some options for the high school. So we're currently investigating, and this has been going on, this isn't new. This has been going on for a few years now.
2 years. 2 years
And
we've
so
been
we're-
talking about it.
So we hear your concern, and actually, we don't have an argument, we share your concern. The challenge is how do we implement it? Now Kathy, you're the expert in CEP, not CEP, Universal Breakfast.
Well, CEP is a different program, and actually, the entire district would not even qualify because you have to have at least 40% direct certification in order to qualify. So only 2 out of our schools in the district would qualify. So that wouldn't really be a viable option for us. But the universal breakfast, or also known as Provision 2, we have been researching it. We are looking into the cost of feeding everyone, and it looks like in some other districts it has been known to be like a break even. We have factors to consider, you know, additional labor, delivering breakfasts, and cleanup involved. So we are researching it, and we hope to present it at the 2nd January meeting. But it is a very good option to feed the entire district, and it's not contingent on us also serving the entire lunch for free. For CEP, if you elect CEP, which is the community eligibility provision, you would have to have free breakfast across the board and free lunch for that particular school that qualifies. For universal breakfast, you can just do breakfast for free, which is a very good option for our district.
But if you can imagine the frustration we had, if we have a surplus in the cafeteria, can we use that to actually pay for breakfast so that everybody could eat together, and we were rejected. So welcome to the trials and tribulations of state and federal law. I can't explain it to you, I can't make sense out of it. It's just when we requested it, we were rejected, and that's why, correct?
Correct.
I'd also like to mention that because we have been talking about this for 2 years now, we had someone who came from, and I don't remember what the company was, but there was a company that came that had a grant available at that time, came in, spoke with us, and it was after the bell in the classroom, and we had the same situation that it would not all provide for all of the students. And at that point, we sent a survey home to parents then, a little over a year ago. And the overwhelming response that we did receive of students who were not coming for breakfast at that point was, I'm eating breakfast at home. I'm eating breakfast at home. But we evolve, and we will continue to look on into the study. But I do want to make sure that everyone is completely aware. We do offer a beautiful hot breakfast currently. Several different options of handmade breakfast.
We have Belgian waffles, chocolate chip pancakes, we have Texas toast breakfast sandwiches, breakfast wraps, breakfast bowls, omelet bars every Friday, pancake bar every Friday, omelet bars are on Thursdays. We have smoothies for the children, we have a lot.
Those are available
options.
every morning. Now, we do have some children who may benefit because they are late, because we do have some students that come habitually late on a weekly, daily basis. They're coming late to school. They would not benefit from the hot breakfast, they would benefit from the grab and go, which we do have available now. For students that come in late, especially if the teacher sees that the child is hungry, the administrator, the principal, the vice principal sees that this kid is coming in late, they'll say to the kid, did you eat breakfast yet? We have a grab and go now that they can bring back to the classroom with them. But also, we have students who are showing up standing outside online in the cold, waiting for school to start, their parents dropping them off very early because they have to go on to work, go on to whatever, and they're not coming in and having breakfast. So there has to be a little bit of communication amongst the parents themselves, perhaps through the PTA. I've asked Mr. Becker if he could encourage the principals to remind the teachers that if you have students standing out there online, perhaps they'd like to come in and have breakfast. Even at the full price for breakfast, it's reduced price is 30 cents, full price is $1.
It's $1.40.
$1.40. I remember myself handing my daughter money to go in if she had to be dropped off early. Here's $1 and go in and have some breakfast. Even if they wanted to just go inside and have some juice, it's better than standing outside in the cold. So we're going to do a little bit better with that. That's what we can do right now. That's something that can be worked on right now without doing anything else. But as we said, it's an ongoing process. We will bring in our food server, which is Pomptonian. They will be here at that second meeting in January, and they will give us some options that are available also. And that's what we'll do. In response to the question about the board member, I'd like our attorney to answer that, please.
Yeah, I think there was a comment about a board member, a potential ethics issue, and I think there was a comment about it at a previous meeting. And I just want to, I'm sorry, I have a cold, so I'm doing the best I can. I just want to say a couple of things about that. The first thing is I caution people when they speak in public about a particular individual, that they should be careful, that anything that they say could be defamatory, and when you're attacking someone individually, you have to be careful about that. But the main thing I wanted to point out was that when you're talking about ethics issues involving board members, this isn't really the forum where that can be addressed. Let me say that stronger. This is not the forum where that can be addressed. The other members of this Board of Education as a body, do not have the power or the ability under the law to enforce the State School Ethics Act.
Okay.
And then there are specific, other agencies that deal with that type of issue.
I'll find that out. Thank you so much. And as I stated at the last meeting when this issue came up, the board did not send anyone to any event. And the board has one spokesperson that speaks on behalf of the board. At this time, it's myself. I'm the president. The board members individually have no power whatsoever out in the public to speak for the board. And that's why when we send board members to an event, it's voted on, it's spoke about here at the meeting. That never happened. If there was a board member or several board members that were at a specific event and something was said or something was done, that's on their private time. That's on their private time. And again, this is not the forum to speak about something that happens with a board member on their private time. So thank you for that. Anything else, board members? Very good. Okay. I'll take a motion to close the meeting. So before we do vote on closing the meeting, I did want to mention, and I'm sorry because it's been such a crazy night, I feel very rushed. We have two board members who will be leaving, who were not reelected, but so this is their last meeting. Alan Bacchino, Mr. Bacchino is not here this evening, but Mr. Hooper is here. The board thanks you for your service, Mr. Hooper. Mr. Hooper and Mr. Bacchino have both served this board very well, with very good attendance. They've received their training. They were dedicated board members, and we are sorry to see you go. We wish you well. We hope you remain close to us. We know you have little ones in the district, and we know you will still be around. And Academy Street School PTA might be the stronger with Mr. Hooper involved over there more with that. So we look forward to seeing you with that. But thank you very much, sir. Okay, we had a motion, we had a second to close the meeting. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Very good, thank you. And happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everyone, Happy Hanukkah. Enjoy your holidays safely, everyone.